Ready?
Live.
We're live.
We're live. And
Downtown Maynard live.
we were just talking that we have no YouTube submissions.
We're lonely.
And
Well,
no Facebook submissions.
I think we should start a dating service.
And,
He's went too far, Jimmy.
and Jimmy, I thought maybe we did something last week and YouTube has done
Oh,
something.
sure. Blame me. I always get the blame. That's all right.
No, that's okay.
Don't worry about
That's
it.
okay. Could
You
be
know,
that people
I
are
can
busy.
I'll do it for the team. That's all I can say.
That's right.
You know?
Well, guys, we finally did it. Look what's behind these two. We're
Yeah.
finally, Jimmy.
Jimmy, do you want to talk about what you did today? We filmed our first class. We're going to give you guys a little sneak preview.
Yes. Well,
Here,
not really.
here are your measurements, Jimmy.
So what we did today, this is our first project, one of the bigger projects we've done, and today we measured out of course, the couch, and again some of the changes that are going to be coming as we strip it down. Kevin's going to.
We went from a traditional to modern. Do you want to explain how it looked? People aren't seeing the full what it looked
Well,
like.
I mean, they have the square cushions with the
with the welting,
well, the welting,
and the skirt.
and there was a skirt here, but now we're going to kind of, again, take all this foam off, strip it down as best we can, and then build it right back up. So you'll probably be seeing it every week as we go along.
Yep.
And I don't know how many weeks that's going to be, but
This
Well,
is
this
a big
is our
project.
first sofa. 'Cause you did the settee, right?
yeah,
But this is our first sofa.
yeah. So
I'm
this is going to be a little more to it again with the larger arms,
Yeah.
and of course the back, and we have some little.
Reconstruction to do. Show them
Yes.
how that
This
goes
is
down.
the piece that we will be working on.
Tell people why they did that. Why did they make hinges on an inside back like that, Jimmy?
Well, I think, as you said, it's because of a lot of the apartment doorways being smaller. So of course, when you take this off, you're giving yourself a good, 6 to 8 inches, and you're.
And I think also, now that I think about it, is packaging purposes, that it's easy to package something that's not, it's misshapen the way it is.
Right, because exactly.
So manufacturers are really clever about saving money, so it was more about saving money than anything else on the packaging end of things. But on the also saving money, if you sell something and they can't get it in their apartment, they're going to return it, right?
I've had that happen.
So that's another reason why they did that. And the
Yeah.
other thing too is, you notice how the fabric, this had a skirt, you guys. Manufacturers are really good. We're good at measuring, which you'll see in a minute. Jimmy's going to explain. But look what they did here. They ended the fabric here because the skirt covered that.
Right.
And so if you're doing it, they get orders in for 1,000, 2,000 at a time, maybe 5,000 units at a
Oh, yeah.
time. So when you start adding up all those units and this 4 or 5 inches and the width, that's a lot of fabric that's saved.
Yeah, you're probably talking about what, after
I couldn't
10
work that out.
15
in my
to
head.
20, 15 to 20, you're probably talking about maybe at least half the amount of fabric you're saving, maybe even a full.
Well, you're
depending.
testing me. Okay, so if I had to guess, so if you're talking about, this is actually more like 5 inches.
Right.
The width is 54 inches, so that would be 10 sofas. 10 sofas at 2 yards apiece.
Right.
10 sofas at 2 yards apiece. 10, if you're doing 100 units, what's the yardage?
10 times.
Two is, you're saving 2 yards of fabric on 10 sofas. 20 yards on 20 sofas. Well,
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought bit, but you can see the
Basically,
point.
I mean, yeah, right. I mean, because for us, when we do this, it's all going to come down. It definitely.
Yeah, we have to, because we're changing the style, we're making it more modern. It's going to be more like a upholstered to the floor, as they say, which
Right.
kind of, I think has a nice look to it. And we're going to eliminate all the welting and piping. Why don't you show people? Jimmy did really good with the measurements today, and I think that's part of the. If you've seen the online classes, by the way, that's what we're talking about, the online classes here. You've seen Jimmy develop. He's definitely a journeyman. And the remarkable thing about that really is that I got full immersion 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week in an upholstery shop. That's a full immersion, and I did everything. I stuffed
Wow.
cushions, I did everything. All the dirty work in the beginning, and then gradually worked myself up.
They accepted you
They accepted
as one
me.
of their own.
Some of the dirty jobs I did was stuffing down in cushions by hand. We used to do all
Now,
that by hand.
was there a class in that? I mean, it was
No,
not a class,
there was
but they
there
say,
was
okay, grab, and then I like the part when they say, well, if it feels right to you, it's good.
Well, that's true. That's pretty much. They put you in a corner with the down cushions away from everybody else,
Okay.
and the feathers would be flying. You'd look like there was you were in a
You're
chicken
molting.
coop. Yeah, and the feathers, no masks wearing at that time, so you get
Oh, God
feathers up
forbid
the
you put a
nose.
mask on, they'd be throwing
Oh,
you out the window.
I know, and then hand by hand, and they could tell, no kidding, Jimmy, I used to test them, to the handful of what a cushion needed, or you put too much in, take a handful, or
Oh, no way.
a half of a handful out, because that's one of the nuances, that's one of the little known nuances in upholstery that nobody
So
knows.
you're going to put down in this? Well, you
No, I'm just using an example. We're not going to do that here. I was just using an example of, I was actually giving you a compliment because really, when you think about the total hours that you've done, it's a lot.
It's been
but
fun. The
it's
whole
been
fun,
fun, but
it's
I
been-
mean, you've managed to grab hold of a skill in
Yeah.
a very short amount of time, and that's good. And I think we've had students on YouTube, and I like to bring this up a lot, who have been watching our videos and have become upholsterers.
Yeah. I think we still should take a field trip. So, well.
I would love to. Now, we just had a student, I should mention last week we mentioned it, upholsterers coming, I won't get into that again, that was last week's show. If you want to see last week's show, we talked about famous upholsterers like Sean Connery.
Right.
I don't like the way they make fun of Sean Connery on a very popular Saturday night show, by the way.
Oh,
The Celebrity Jeopardy.
yeah.
They make
yeah.
fun of him.
All the time. Well, that's because, I mean, he's one of, well, they brought in Burt Reynolds on one.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
He wasn't an upholsterer as far as I know.
No.
The only connection he
I don't
has...
think he could put a hammer and a nail together. He didn't sound
No.
like the type.
Did he go out with Pamela Anderson? No, I think that's the only connection. to an
He was married to her for a
Oh,
while.
he was married, so that's the only connection he has to upholstery is that he knew Pamela Anderson, who was an upholsterer. But anyhow,
Oh, no, you're thinking of the other actress. Pam, this is Lonnie Anderson.
oh yes, that's right. You're right, Jerry. Thank you for correcting me.
Yes, I was like, wait a minute, wrong blonde here. Wait a minute, hold on a second.
Is there anybody watching out there, Patrick, that have any questions about last week's show?
So and Deb says thumbs up.
Thank you.
Thumbs
We
up.
appreciate the thumbs up.
Why don't you talk about the measuring and the process and everything, Jim, and how we do it?
Well, I mean, I have done quite a bit of measuring, and I'm still, learning because this is definitely a new project, definitely a sofa, and so I probably overestimated on some of the measurements, but that was because of not knowing how with a new piece of, especially a sofa, if it was any different. So I basically, if you can see it from basically the inside, I measured all the way to the bottom on one of them, when actually it should have been like right up in here. I guess that's the traditional.
But actually, in all fairness to Jimmy, he was going by the how the manufacturer finished. And again, manufacturers are looking to make it as easy as possible for the people applying the fabric.
Right.
So they made that all one piece.
Yep.
The inside arm, the panel, and the outside arm. Whereas, why don't you show them the brackets that we have on the inside arm and the panel, Jimmy?
What's that?
We're doing the inside arm and the panel as one piece, and the outside arm
Yeah,
as a separate
a
piece.
traditional piece. So
Right,
yeah,
it's
so
traditional,
basically we measured from the inside, right inside here, all the way over up until about right here, and then we're going to measure down like again traditional way that we know.
So this class, you guys are going to learn a lot in this class. It's different than the traditional upholstery that we've been doing.
Oh yeah.
There's more moving parts to this. If I had to count, so far we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then on the cushions, you have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and then another, at least almost 40 different measurements, 40 different pieces, and all the two
and the
measurements
cushions,
that go
the
with
cushions
it.
will be for you to explain.
Cushions would, yeah, because you've never done cushions.
No.
You've never measured cushions, and they have to work together. There are 3 cushions sitting side by side, so
Right.
you can't overcut them. You have to make sure the cut is right on them, and you can't have they can't be gappy with one another.
Right.
And then I'm not sure the fabric. You haven't picked out the fabric for
Well,
this
we
yet.
have to go into the depths of upholstery on Broadway, 205 Broadway in
Yeah.
Arlington.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll make it back out alive. There's just so much to choose from down there. We can pick
Well,
something.
don't be afraid to pick almost anything, and I say that because let's say the hardest fabric really to work with is a plaid.
Mhm.
A plaid has 2 stripes, vertical and horizontal.
I don't think my daughter will like the plaid.
Okay, well,
I
maybe you're
definitely
plain
think I won't be
fabric.
the father of the year this year, I can tell you that. But I got a question for you. I
Yeah.
mean, this is, we all say, for example, when you have a wingback chair, you say 6 to 8 yards of fabric.
Right.
Pretty much.
Well, that's
And
a good
she-
question. How much yardage for this?
Yeah,
What you
this
think?
is, I mean, because we're gonna be sewing the fabric together, correct?
Right,
Or is
yes.
that?
Yeah, some of it, yeah. So total estimate on this job right now, and would be with the the 3 seats and the 3 back cushions and all the other stuff. I should tell people how I do it, you know, because I get put on the spot all the time, and people want answers quick.
Right, well, right, exactly.
So when I look at a piece, I'll break it down, the body and the cushions, right?
Okay.
So I'll look at this and I'll say, okay, 1 yard for the seat, in my mind, I'm not saying this out loud. 1.5 for the inside arm and the outside arm, that's 3, that's 4. 1 yard, 3 yards for the back, that's 5, 6, 7, and then another 3 for the outside back, that's 10. And 1.5 yards in the minimum for each cushion. So 10 plus 1.5 times 6 is 9. So I'd say 19, but I know in my gut, because
Right.
there's no skirt, that I can do it in 16. So I would adjust it. I don't gouge people. I'm honest with people.
Right.
I should be able to know how much yardage. I very rarely get caught on the yardage, and I don't like overestimating on the yardage, because it can throw your price points up too, and people might decide. Sometimes people are at that, believe it or not, when you're totaling the labor and the fabric, they have a price. They have a good idea of what's in mind.
Well, right, because they're
So if
already.
if you're $200 or $300 or $400 over because you've added or padded out the yardage, this is for people who are in business, especially out there, who watch us and try
Right.
to get learning from how to run a business.
Right, not to overestimate.
You shouldn't pad out the fabric. Some people, I won't mention who, like to pad out the numbers on the fabric, and I
Okay.
think it's not a good thing to do. They're making money. That's
Yeah.
the bottom line. But you see how cheap the manufacturer is with fabric.
Yeah,
right?
and they're adding that all together.
So we have to be conservative. I guess that's the word.
Okay.
So I know I can do this in 16 yards.
Okay.
So now Jimmy had a question. I think I'll ask a few because you might not remember. He's got to pick from our remnants.
Yes.
So we don't have a 6. I could tell you I might have one or two big yardages like that. But
Okay, but we'll see what we
most
have.
of them are. I think you're going to have to do 2 fabrics, which is going to be kind of neat, isn't it?
Well, I've seen on some of the. Can I say Pinterest?
Yeah.
Okay, so on a Pinterest account, when I put up upholstery in fabric, they've come up with, say, for example, a green, but then they come up with a floral for the
Yeah,
back,
yeah.
or the cushion.
I would say go solid on the body,
Okay.
and then go have fun on the cushions, maybe a floral or whatever
Yeah.
you want to do.
Yeah, I'll talk to my daughter. I mean,
You're going to have to show her samples. You're going to have to cut samples and show them to her.
Yeah,
That,
oh, yeah.
that would be fun for her to.
Oh, yeah.
Give her a little, ownership.
oh yeah. She's already given me the warning anyway. You know, she trusts me, but
Oh,
again,
yeah.
you know what? I'd rather see something that she's gonna really
yeah,
like,
yeah.
something that's gonna say, no, I like, something
Yeah,
else.
I think it's going to be fun. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, that'll be definitely. I mean, I've seen it before, and I've like, wow, that's perfect. That's a classy type of chair, or again, ottoman if you really want to
she's
go.
going to
there.
like it. I'm excited for you and for her. So, is there anything else? Is there a question and answer, Patrick, right now? Or?
Hey, Malcolm. Malcolm's
Hey,
here.
Malcolm.
Thank you, God, Malcolm.
We were thinking that our fans have left us, and we got
Yeah,
we got a
probably,
note
yeah.
from the veterinarian. That dog will not be coming back. That was your fan that day.
Well, you know what?
No,
he's
no.
probably moved on to bigger and better things. That's all I can say. That's all right, because when I make my comeback, I won't be. It's all right. I knew you once. I don't.
You know, Pat, we have 26,000 subscribers on YouTube, Jimmy, and I'm sure that a lot of them are your fans.
Oh, well, I don't know. I haven't really started my official fan club. I mean, if you'd like to be the president, we
Oh, I would love to be the
it's a
president of your
non-paying
fan
job,
club.
though. I mean, well, I don't know about that.
When do we meet, or where do we meet? Oh, we better not ask that.
Well, we can go down to the local where we go for our dinners and.
Oh yeah, the
we-
local steakhouse. You
Yeah.
promised me a steak for something I'm going to do for you. I'm doing a skirt for you or something.
Yeah, a skirt.
No,
Oh no, you're doing a crib.
a crib cushion. Yeah.
Yes.
Crib cushion.
Well,
You want to show that? Or
Yeah.
No.
no, we
Yeah,
didn't.
can you grab it, Jimmy? I thought he wanted a skirt
cool
when I
little
first saw it.
What, for me? You guys, you know what? I don't know why you're so mean to me sometimes. You know?
But that would be, there's
I try-
nothing wrong with
I
that.
pray for you every day. But
Thank
yet-
you, Jimmy.
Yeah, and then once in a while I'll throw a Dunkin' Donuts your way, but obviously that's not enough. Take you out for
Not
lunch.
helping.
I mean, now,
Well,
what's
this is
next?
definitely a unique thing here, Joe. It's pretty cool.
Well,
Where did you get this fabric?
I got this at a.
Wasn't from us, that's for sure.
No, I got
Nothing
it.
really like
I
that.
went to a.
For a little girl, right?
This is for my great granddaughter.
Wow.
Cool.
Look
Yeah.
at that.
So this is the fabric. What a neighbor gave my other half was a crib, a doll crib.
Oh, nice.
So we decided, her and I, to paint it up, and so now it's pink and white. We're going to put stencils on
That's
it.
cute.
Yep. And so we're actually going to put a little bit of a cushion on the
For the doll.
for the doll.
Nice, Jimmy.
And so she's going to have a couple of cribs in the house. And when we came into this again.
That's cute. You're not going to put that on here.
Well, I could, but I don't know how many people would, oh, a unicorn. Oh, where'd you get
Who
the
knows, might be
fabric?
really popular.
Yeah, I
You
could,
never-
I
you
could
never
make
know.
you. So yeah, this is what's going to
That's
happen.
cute, Jimmy.
Yeah, it's going to be. I hope she likes it. And again, oh yeah, by the way, those the two pieces of fabric there, that's going to be like a pillow. So if you
What
want,
two pieces?
there's two pieces there.
Oh, there's two additional pieces.
yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so kind of, and I'll just stuff it in.
I'll take care of it for you.
Oh, you are such a good soul. I
Well,
tell
we
you.
Well,
try.
Malcolm says, sorry to cut you. But Malcolm, for this couch, will you use the top fabric behind the cushions, or will you use a cheap material like the manufacturer?
No, we're gonna fully upholster that back. Actually, Malcolm, we have to stabilize the back, so we're probably gonna. We don't want that. I don't like the hinges at all. I don't like that.
No.
So we're gonna stabilize that probably by putting a piece of webbing across the front and the back to stabilize it,
Okay.
and then upholster over the whole thing. Now we don't like these. This is again a saving fabric issue with the backs. And some people, they would say, the manufacturer would say, "Oh no, it's for the cushions don't slide." That's not the reason. The reason is that's a very inexpensive material. This is more expensive, right, than that black stuff. It's almost like a cambric, Malcolm. I feel it. It's like almost like a thickness of a cambric, which is a really cheap material, a Celestra. It's really cheap. So, and for instance, the seat, you can't see it, but the seat also has these patches. It has the only fabric is right here in the middle where the break of the cushions is.
Oh, so the rest.
And that's for the break of the cushions. When the cushions separate, you see fabric. So they saved at least 2 yards here
Okay.
doing that, and they saved I think we figured maybe a fifth of a yard
Okay.
or so here. So each sofa they saved. You're making 1,000 sofas, 2.5 yards. Let's say 2.5 yards a sofa.
Wow.
That can add up.
Yeah, I mean that's almost probably another roll of fabric.
And they figure it right down to the inch.
Oh yeah, there's probably very, except for maybe the occasional mistake, they probably do.
And machines do a lot of the cutting. They
Oh,
don't
yeah.
have scissors. They don't have this. They have people, and they have people doing different tasks. They don't have one person doing the whole sofa.
Oh,
They have like 10 people doing a seat, doing seats all day long. That's all they do.
boom, boom, boom. And
But
So-
it goes to this, back to the same thing. Why give the customer the perfect product? You can cut corners like that.
Well, I
Why,
know,
why
but-
give them the perfect?
Well, they don't
You
know.
I think what they're trying to do is cut
Either.
time.
You're right, Bev.
They don't want somebody being on a couch literally all day, when they can say, okay, on the average, let's say there's 6 to 8 per hour that say Kevin and I are doing whatever work we're going to be doing on the inside of this couch and moving it along. So if we get 10 or 12 per hour, for example, in a day it's at least almost 100.
We're going to be putting a lot of man hours into this, much more. I could guarantee, if I had to guess, Malcolm probably would be good at guessing this too.
Okay.
If I had to guess how many man hours, these are engineered.
Right.
These pieces are engineered.
Right.
If I had to guess, just on the reupholstery, not the making of the frame,
Okay.
just on the reupholstery, which includes all the stitching and everything.
Right.
If I had to guess, and the machine usage,
Okay.
don't forget.
Okay. That's
They're
another
using a lot of
probably 10 hours.
automated stuff.
Right. Everything. I'm sure everything is right. Yeah. I
You
mean,
might not believe how many hours each one
35.
of these takes. I'd say between 10 and 12 hours. The
So-
whole thing.
Really? I mean, well, they do
I'd say
it like
12
that.
hours.
I think this is going to be the most relatable class we've done so far. I think most people have these in their homes.
Yeah.
They're things like this. They'll be able to relate to this. They have something like
Well,
this that they're
yeah.
happy with. They can follow this class and they can.
But there has to be you're right, Patrick, there has to be a profit margin too. So I know somebody, I won't mention them, that bought a recliner, those double recliners.
Oh, the
No, I want to bring this up because
Talking about me, Jimmy.
I'm a numbers guy, and I'm a labor guy. I can look at things and know how long things take and how it was done to make
Right.
to get it to that point. But I know that we're doing this piece by piece. It's going to be custom, so that just means more hours. But this piece was what, $700 with the shipping, Patrick?
1,000.
1,000.
Yeah.
$1,000.
Now hold
wow.
on. It was a unit with a reclining unit, a double unit, $1,000. It was 300 pounds, and it was shipped from Vietnam. So shipping costs are expensive. So shipping, I bet that cost $250 at least.
No,
Or
no,
three-
free shipping.
No.
No, they gave us free shipping.
Somebody had to pay
Well,
the
they-
shipping.
Somebody's paying. Well, you know what? This is the thing, because when they're shipping things like that from another country, you're talking about they're sending it in thousands of blocks. They're
Right,
three-
but
three
I'm
or four
figuring.
I think they added more to the cost of the
So you-
sofa.
Yeah, they're just
So
adding it, or
yeah.
they're just kicking it onto.
Just so it looks, free shipping, it looks really good. But
Yeah.
in reality,
But it was.
How come you didn't stay local? That's what I don't.
No, we got, last time we got lucky. We found one at a mom and pop furniture store in Western Mass, but they're not, that was during the pandemic when nobody was out.
Okay.
So
we got that for $700.
So manufacturers.
Same sofa.
Here's
So-
the point
so-
I'm trying to make. I can just imagine what the factory looks like and who these people that are putting this stuff together and the long hours that they're putting in and they're really not getting paid a lot.
Oh, come on! You're saying Vietnam.
Well,
You're not talking about any type of union.
yeah.
Even let's say you were paying them $15 US.
Yeah.
What is that? I mean, and these people probably work
well,
50.
they pay them piece by piece. So you have to be fast and good in order to make it
Right.
somewhat of a decent living. But they're probably paying 10, 15, 25 cents each seat that they put on.
Wow.
And that's a way for them to control costs too,
Yeah.
to make sure the production's being done. It's a tough ball game. This is a tough game. And I was saying to Jimmy, we took the skirt off. Cosmetically, the top layers, they're really good at.
Okay.
I'm not taking anything away from, and this was a box store, you guys. I won't mention the name, but you know who it was. It's a nationwide, right, Patrick?
Yeah. Well, no.
I know, just New England. Well,
maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
but it's not a high quality piece. Let's put it that way. But the stitching and I think the machine used they're really good. These machines that they use in these
Okay.
modern machines, they really stitch up nice. I mean,
Do you
there's nothing
think
wrong
when they
with
put this on, they slip it? I mean, they have a
yeah,
large.
it's just slipped on.
It's not like
There's
you
some
and I.
skill. There's some skill. So what they do is, Jimmy, this whole thing's reversed. So what you see is the back side. You put your hand here.
Right.
You line this up, right? It's rolled back this way, so the back side of the fabric's here, and then they push it. They pull it this way,
Right.
and it goes down there. They staple here. They staple here,
Mm-hmm.
and they put 4 staples right here. I can count them right there.
I'm sure they probably even have quality control for
So
that.
once that's sewn,
Mm-hmm.
that's this applying this.
Yeah.
Is probably a 2-minute process.
Okay.
About 2 minutes.
So how long do you think?
So there you go.
All right.
2, 4, 6, 8, and then the back a little bit more. 10, 15,
15.
20 minutes for the
So
bottom.
20 minutes, so you can probably get 3 done. 24. How many people? Well, depending on how many people actually. I mean, you
Well,
have.
no, yeah, like I said, they're having one person do this,
Mm-hmm.
one person doing a right arm, one person doing a left arm. That's how it's broken down.
Right. But are they having? Okay. So like.
And they're fast. They're fast and good because they're doing piecework.
Right.
So that's how
So
you get.
how many lines of 3 people? If you had 3 people doing.
This is like a conveyor going down a conveyor belt, I think, or something.
Okay.
It's going right along.
Okay.
Who knows? It might not. They might even be on the conveyor belt doing this work.
Yeah. Kind of. Well, think of
I
the
don't know.
United Auto Workers and
Yeah.
how they do it.
Yeah, it's
Same
the same
thing.
thing. It's. I have to admire that because in the end product, you guys will see it if you buy it. You'll see it with the skirt on it. I'll tell you what. It looked pretty good, but it's the top. It's the top, and then everything falls apart on the inside.
Right.
I mean, there's no quality at all on the inside.
Well, I mean, you've got this. I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, it's in this.
Well, you got
It's not a-
particle.
it's
particle board, and then zigzag springs. If you're lucky, this does have zigzag springs. If you're lucky, which aren't the best springs. We talked about that.
Right.
But you know, it's functional. It what I call throwaway.
Mm-hmm.
If you were just gonna not update it like we're gonna do, we're gonna update it, make it better.
Yeah.
Do things like here and there to make
We'll
it
have
better.
that Kevin Kennedy warranty with that, right? How
Yeah,
much?
right. It's
Yeah,
the 1 year warranty. Just kidding.
Um,
So any questions?
Yeah.
Any other
Lee
questions?
has a question.
Uh-huh.
How would I go about making sure a gold leaf sofa doesn't get damaged, putting new fabric on, and taking a few old pieces off a client brought in?
You mean she's talking about gold leaf finish on it,
Mm.
and so she doesn't have a picture.
Gold
does she?
leaf sofa.
Well, she's talking like the wood, Patrick. How do you have to be very careful. First of all, the first thing I do these pieces. I get them in. Always a padded horse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Always a padded table. I have a padded table behind here.
Yes.
Always clean. Sometimes I'll even, if it's a really valuable antique, I'll change out the cloth on my padded table.
Okay.
And most importantly, as I'm taking it apart, I'm cleaning that table all the time.
Okay.
I'm very careful about turning a piece, especially if it's a gold gilded piece like this, onto the side. One staple attack that's left, and you pulling it over like that can ruin your day on that, let me tell you.
Okay.
You have to be careful, and you have to charge more. People have to understand, listen, this is TLC's. All my furniture, by the way, is treated like that.
I know. Well,
But-
I
but
mean,
these are
you and I
especially-
have done I've done a few projects. You've helped me with my living room.
Yeah.
And everything has been quality, the quality
Yeah.
workmanship, and the
Yeah.
right way to do it, I believe.
But you know, classes are like that. I teach classes like that too. Where you'd be surprised. A lot of people don't. When we were looking at people to hire, we weren't looking for the guy with all the tools. They'd come with 3 toolboxes in the dolly and pull in and it's usually the guy with just his scissors that comes in. That's pretty good. But even then, what you look for is bench presence. How somebody cleans up and is careful with the furniture, not overdone. Obviously.
Right. I mean, you don't
But
have.
that means everything, because the old timers used to call this the goods,
Okay.
goods, right? The top layer is the
Okay.
goods. So if they saw you mishandling, they'd come over yelling, the goods, the goods. They'd be screaming at you. Like if they saw you turn this over, this was just upholstered, you're putting just the cambric on, which a lot of times the apprentices are doing,
Right.
and you don't bother to
Protect it.
to protect it.
You're going to
Boy,
hear
they-
from them.
Of course, because
What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what you're doing?
I mean, you could ruin a job.
What's your name? Kevin Kennedy. Oh, we heard about you.
Custom works like that, but manufacture's totally different.
Well, they probably have all those safeguards in place.
They do. It's all. Yeah. So any other questions? Or I hope that I answered that. I would get more. I would charge a little bit more for something that's gold trimmed out like that, an
Okay.
antique like that.
Yeah, Lee was talking. It was the wood.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Malcolm has a few comments about the store-bought furniture.
Yeah.
Says the biggest issue I have on the price is that I'm making a custom suit in quotes or a custom in quotes suit of clothes for a couch chair, but the customer can only compare manufactured products made in the factory,
Yeah.
just like off the rack.
Yeah.
Says there's no way to compete on cost from the factory, especially a foreign one.
You know, it's funny, Malcolm. I just did a beautiful silk. I have a picture of it. I want to show it. Where's my phone? This is worth showing. Oh man, I did a silk wing chair. Now silk, Jimmy, is a very unusual material. You put a tack or a staple in silk, and it projects pull marks.
Yeah.
But even a lot of the customers, they'll pick a silk from the rack, and they don't understand that. I don't have a problem so far, but I just wanted to show you this beautiful job I did. And Malcolm, it's what you said. People knew fibers and skilled labor more when I first started in this business, but he's got a good point. Now that you have this cosmetic stuff that get really good at this with machines, though, it's not handmade. When you're hand feeding, you're doing the piping by itself. You're doing the panel onto the piping, and you're doing the arm onto both of those. This is done in one piece, Jimmy.
Yeah.
This is just one piece.
Well, that's why I asked you. I mean, because
This is all one piece.
this isn't like the way we do it, one thing at a
No,
time.
we can't. I couldn't have the machinery. Probably cost a lot of money. Probably to get
Okay,
the
you couldn't
machine.
you couldn't do it like make it a unit and kind of.
No,
throw it on?
I don't have the machine to do that. That's a special machine that makes the cushions are all made in one piece.
Wow.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Let me just get this up, Malcolm, because I think you might be interested in this. Oh, look at this. Here it is. Wait a minute.
It also goes on to say, my chiropractor wanted me to reupholster a couch. I asked how much it would cost. I told her just to buy a new one. It would have cost far more for me to reupholster it.
Now, you take a look at this, you guys. This has a beautiful down cushion. It has a beautiful finish on it. It's silk, but it shows things that another fabric wouldn't. But that's the nature of silk. So you know when you buy a silk, you have to expect that. But this was a tough job. You see the panels. Usually, what we do on paneled arms, Patrick, is we take a brad, Jimmy, and go through the panel and go through the fabric, and it pops through, and you don't see anything. You can't do that on silk. So I had to get this flexible wood, and upholster those panels. You see those panels on the front?
Okay.
I had to upholster those with the flexible wood, and then hot glue that on. That's the only way I could do it without.
But was that a way you
No,
dealt
that's
with
not
that
the
before?
way it was, though. I mean, it had a fabric on. When they just take the brads and go right, they shoot it right through.
Right. But
So
I mean,
this
we've
was a
done,
challenging project to somebody I know, and I can predict it now. What are all those pull marks? Oh my God! Well, it's a silk. Please give me a break.
Well, right, silk being, I mean, it's not.
This is what Malcolm was saying.
Yeah.
Malcolm was saying that he's right. He's taken a good analogy, Malcolm. A fine tailored suit, which has the personality of the person, the tailor doing it.
Right.
It has his. I can't tell on this because it's done by 20 people, but I can tell a right-handed person and a left-handed person did a project.
Really?
Yeah, because there's certain ways you
Can you
can't
tell with me?
pretty much.
Really?
Or anybody. I can tell just by looking at it. Or I can tell my mentor's work. Sometimes it comes back, the universe throws my mentor 40 years ago, 50 years ago, throws my mentor's work back to me. And I look at it and I say, it's a glorious day. It's happened to me once.
Wow.
And I can tell right away, Ruby did this. Mr. Rubenstein did this. Monty, my mentor.
Wow.
And I look at it, and sure enough, I'm taking it apart, and I see on the back side all the fabrics marked with his handwriting.
Wow.
That was one of the greatest moments of my life, that I actually did his, 40 years later, that I'm reupholstering his job.
That's like, wow. It's like,
Yeah.
it's almost, it's like a hallmark moment.
It
I mean,
is,
you know, it's like,
and-
how many times are you going to see that?
Well, I think it only happened to me once.
Okay.
I mean, because there's a lot of furniture and a lot of upholsteries
Well, he
out
must
there.
have been thinking of you.
I don't know. I think maybe there's something to that, Jimmy, in the universe. Any other questions, Ed, Patrick?
Nope, that's it.
So, Jimmy,
Yep.
what else is going on in the upholstery world? Have you
Nothing. No, there
any
is-
new developments?
No. It's, we gotta wait for things to get better. People are still, I think, cutting back a little bit here and there. I don't.
Well, I'm glad Jimmy brought that up because I have, Malcolm, I'm sure you might have noticed, or anybody out there doing business in any business, I have noticed a little bit of a slowdown. I hate to be the one calling it, but I can't help it but to say it. It's so you have to get a little bit more creative with getting sales, I think.
Do what you can. That's
or
it.
price
You can.
points.
Yeah.
You have to be careful your prices, you guys. You have
Yeah,
to be
throw in
more
a free
competitive.
cat at for every
Malcolm was
piece.
just talking about this.
When last week,
Well, right
right?
now he's talking about how. Do you hear what I said about his last comment? He said, my chiropractor wanted me to reupholster a
Yeah.
couch. I asked how much it would cost. Told her just to buy a new one because it was cheaper.
He
Yeah,
told
well,
her?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the sad part
Oh.
when you're saying, well, yeah, exactly, because you're saying, and you got to tell them up front, this, you can get the couch for X amount of money. This is what it's actually going to cost if I did it for you.
But sometimes that's strictly from a cost standpoint. I actually don't, I'm not afraid to throw in the environmental issue about throwing a piece of furniture away and producing a new piece of furniture.
Right.
It's always better for the environment to keep what you have and just reupholster it.
And also, you're going to get what you pay for. There's a chance that she's going to come back anyway saying, this new one isn't holding up.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah,
That's right.
well, I mean, I know people who, they had asked me to do a upholstery job, and they had just bought the sectional they had, and it was, I said, it's going to cost a little bit of money, I mean, depending on the fabric, but they ended up buying, through the another sectional, and I said, oh well, whatever, it's your call, whatever thing you think it's going to be. But I think it was like a small section, like a 6 or 8 piece section. It wasn't this huge thing, but yeah, I mean, you're going to look at the price too, and you may even be reluctant to do it that way, but you're kind of saying, $300-400 is like, do I have it? Do I not? What do I do?
Yeah, we have pricing. There's so much to in upholstery. It's not just doing the work. You've got to always be thinking about next week or the week ahead. Ideally, you want maybe 6 to 8 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks is probably ideal. If it goes over longer than that, people start to hem and haw about that. Or if it's less than that, then you get a little worried what's going to, about work. So 6 to 8 weeks is a good amount of work ahead of you. But new sales is always very important too. If you're not getting the new sales in, that's a problem. So it's multi-dimensional.
We're always thinking of new things to do. We have a new thing going on right now that we're doing. So
yeah. Why don't you tell
people?
people about that, Patrick?
Did we talk about it last week?
Well, it's worth repeating because there are people out there.
Well, this is all new. I mean, again, we've talked about this for the last couple of years, and with COVID and all, things have definitely slowed down, so we weren't really recording anything, and we're sticking with the chairs, the channel back and the wing back and the ottomans, and after much discussion at the board of directors meetings.
Well, Lee has a good point. Lee says, will upholsterers continue to have enough work, or will this trade die off?
I think we need to adjust, Lee. I'm going to give you a little tip, and this is what I'm doing because I'm really good at feeling the pulse of what's going on. So the good news with this is there's tens and tens of thousands of this furniture in every home in America right now at this point. And before COVID, they were buying this furniture, and still are, but this furniture fails much quicker.
It's worn out.
It wears out. What happens with this furniture, the cushioning and the insides, for instance, I had a customer call me, one of the zigzag springs on a sofa, almost just like this, two of them broke through the cambric.
Okay.
And it's an upholstered seat, and they like it.
Okay.
And so I said, I can repair that for much less than what it's going to cost to replace it. It's a 10-year-old piece. I can get it usable again for $800. And they jumped at it because that was the one we delivered together.
Oh, okay.
Over the next town over.
Oh, okay.
So what did I do? I saved a piece of furniture. He likes it. He sleeps on that.
Okay.
So he doesn't have to go out. He doesn't have to spend time looking for another piece. He doesn't have to spend time getting rid of the one he has. So for him, it made sense. He did say though, it would have cost. This is how much I paid for it. He paid that much for it, but now it was a sofa without arms. It was just one of those armless sofas.
Yeah.
So, but it was still worth it for him. So Lee, you may want to try to focus your business more on the repair end of things, I guess, or until it picks up a little bit. Because right now I think the economy's flattening out a little bit, so that's why our focus is going to be more on that.
Okay.
Yep.
Makes sense.
You got to do what you got to do. Any other questions or comments, Patrick?
That's it.
All right. Well,
we're gonna wrap it up, right? Patrick has
so
Patrick has to be somewhere. So are you going
to go to the Celtics tonight?
Are you gonna buy Dad a nice shirt? I'm a big Celtics fan.
Are you the
I
sixth?
think he's a Lakers fan.
I like the Lakers and I like the Yankees.
What do you know?
And I like the New York Rangers.
What?
All three of them. All right. Well, we'll see you. We'll see you next time.
We're very excited to continue this project.
Yeah, this will
Really
be fun
cool
to get it started. You see
Jimmy, I know that you said that was for a doll. It's okay if it was for you.
It's not for my doll.
It's okay.
I knew you guys were going to start again.
Is that it, Patrick?
That's it. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Did we get that little tidbit in the end?